out. Hey guys, welcome to another week of Creo, and this week we're going to be talking about the sky. So ancient people had a different idea of the sky than we do. They thought the earth was made of three levels. There was the upper sky, which was the sky, the blue sky that we see above. There was the middle sky, which is where everybody lived. And there was the lower sky, which was like anything that was deep or dark or mysterious. So what the ancient people thought about the sky is not what we think of the sky. They assumed that the sky was a high place, a lofty place, a place that was unreachable and unattainable. Now most of us have already flown in an airplane, but think about it back almost a couple of thousand years ago where they had no idea that you could get that. We fly and it doesn't really make a difference to us what the sky is. It must have been shocking for the first people who flew to fly through the clouds and actually not have what they thought of as heaven being set up there. Now, when we're talking about the skies in the scriptures, whenever they talk about God in the sky, they're really giving him a kind of an honorific, a title of honor. They're trying to assign that the highest place was reserved for him. One of the greatest misconceptions that we have as Christians is that we are taught that God lives in a far-off place, in a place filled with clouds and angels singing with little harps, and everybody wears a white robe. That's up there. A lot of the time, if you ask any kid, even yourself or myself when I was younger, we thought that heaven was up there, just up in the blue area of heaven. One thing that we're going to be learning this year in our new curriculum of presence is to realize where the presence of God is at all times. See, the beautiful thing that we're going to be learning this month about the garden is that God did not create a high, lofty place for himself way apart from humans, but he actually created a garden, a place where he wanted to dwell with humans at the same time. He didn't want to be separated from us. He wanted to be part of our lives all the time. When the scriptures talk about God living in the sky or being up and high and lofty, they're really trying to give him as much honor as they knew. You see, to them, the sky was the highest place you could go. Like, that thing was mysterious and distant, and it was blue, but they didn't know why. It provided water, but they didn't know how it came about. A lot of them thought it was just like a shell, like a glass shell that was up there, that it would you could, if you could fly up there, you could touch it and get to the end of the sky, and that it had different places where it let water out, and that's why it rained. Now to us it seems silly, but to them it was an incredible place. It was such a new world. It was different for them. Can you imagine if you went back in time and you were able to bring a whole bunch of those people into a plane and then take them above the sky, what they would have felt? They would have been scared. They would have been completely shocked that what they thought was God's dwelling place wasn't what they thought. We don't want to destroy anybody's sense of believing, but we want to make sure that everybody understands what it means to be in God's presence. See, to be in God's presence is not to go to a high place separated from everywhere, or create a tall tower like the buildings you saw earlier, or even going to creating a temple that was so out of the way and out of place where only certain people could meet God. God wanted us to be with him at all times, and he wanted us to understand that his place is not in a lofty place up in the sky somewhere in a cloud, but he is with you. So today, as you're sitting out with your cruise, remember to think about that. Talk about that. Talk about the reality that God is actually living with you right now, and not in some distant place way above the clouds where you can never touch him. Now that's an amazing thing. So that's it for me this week, guys. I hope you have an awesome day. We will see you next week.